thank you for being here tonight. I think you're going to learn a lot and really be excited about starting up here next year.
Thank you. Yep. Welcome, everyone. Wow, it is so exciting to look around and see how many people came, including students. So for students that are here, I know you're going to hear it again, but hopefully it sinks in a little more, helps you with some questions. My name is Terry Knight. I have been at Bel Air High School, I think 12 years maybe, but I'm the department chair, and I do work with students in the EL and the biomed. So I'm going to introduce all the counselors that are here. So we have Miss Smith. So at the high school, we break it up by letters of the alphabet by your last name. So if your last name begins with this letter of the alphabet, that's how we break it up, with the idea that there's going to be continuity for the 4 years that you're with us. The demands and the needs of a 9th grader really differ from the seniors, and writing letters of recommendation for close to 400 seniors would be a lot. So pacing it out for us works well. Miss Hackett, that's DJ through KH. Miss Doak, KI through Q. Miss Graham, R through Z. And like I said, my name is Miss Knight. All of our offices are together, and it's going to, if you come out this hallway, you make a right, it's all the way down, right across from the gymnasium and across from the school store. So it's actually a wonderful location for us, because as students are coming in off the bus, they're easy to pop in. So one thing I want you to know is that if your student's saying they're having a difficult time or they don't have the opportunity to meet with that counselor, that is not true. We have a line in the morning. Students are coming in. They're asking questions all the time. We make ourselves available at the end of the day, and we actually have an online bookings. So you can go right online with them, just similar to your doctors, and say what date, what time, and they have access to our calendar. So setting that up is very easy. All right, so today is January 29th, so I did not have the pleasure of going to the middle school. They only needed 4 of us this year, so I stayed back down and held the fort here, but the rest went over and had the opportunity to work with your students as well as the teachers. And I really just want to give a shout out to the middle school. They are always wonderful in supporting us and hosting us. So the teachers met with us last week to answer questions. They've posted this information on their Canvas page. So you do have access to see the PowerPoint on the Canvas page, as well as any other materials. We'll also be posting this on our school website. On the 8th, school counselors will go back to the middle school to collect the yellow papers, as well as to verify that things have been entered in the system correctly and answer any questions. All right, so we will have a follow-up. This is enough time to make a good first informed decision. So the purpose of tonight, we're going to go over the PowerPoint like we did with your students, but the big goal, like Mr. DeLeva said, was to get everybody out into the school. We wanted to get a feel for the school, get a feel for the programs. The 9th grade schedule is pretty standard and basic. There are some choices to make, but I say as a 9th grader, you can't mess up the schedule too much. It's pretty laid out, similar to your first year, a freshman in college, but after that, you have a lot of different directions and tracks you can go. So no big decisions have to be made this evening. Let's just experience and enjoy and ask questions. And I'm hoping the experience and the questions will lead to more questions. So we're going to go over some basic vocabulary. I'm going to show you some resources. And we're going to start with some key terms. So as a freshman, you're starting off with a pretty clean slate. All right, you're coming in, you're with a clean slate. Some will have already earned credit towards high school. Does anybody know kind of what those credits may be? I think some of you might. So your world language. How many of you guys are taking a world language this year? All right, pass that class, that's high school credit. If you're in Algebra 1 or geometry. How many of you guys are in Algebra 1 or geometry? All right, high school credit, right? Thank you for interacting. I appreciate that. I will say on the side note with that, because I am trying to be thoughtful of getting you out of here as quickly as possible, I am going to try to limit some of the questions. I've got my backup guys that are going to let me know if I'm skipping over things or people aren't understanding things. But all the counselors will remain here after this presentation to help with those individualized questions. So just for the time's sake, I might not be stopping for questions. But the interactions and the head nods, I much appreciated. So to get a credit, you must pass the class with a D or higher. All right, bar's kind of low with a D or higher. Doesn't mean you've mastered the content, but if you've gotten a D in a class, you will be promoted to the next class. As an 8th grader, coming into 9th grade, with the world language, that might be one, if you do earn a D, that probably is worth a conversation with your teacher about whether or not you're prepared to move on to the next level. And maybe, being proactive, what do I need to do differently? And it may be as simple as turning in your work or reviewing, whatever the case may be. But having those conversations with your teachers are very important. So if your student's a little uncomfortable with that, maybe help prompt them for that, because this is something that, I consider high school the playground for life. Like, this is a safe place where you should be able to practice those skills. And having a conversation with a teacher about a grade, about an assignment, our teachers are amazing, just like the teachers at the middle school are amazing. They have a passion for this and an interest for this. They love questions. I mean, what teacher wouldn't like, why am I struggling to learn? And they will give you that feedback. All right, so credit. As you can tell, I love having these times. Miss Graham will keep a timer on me because I have so much information to share, and I'm so excited just working with high school students. So for the credit, you have to pass. Once you earn it, you keep it. Never goes away. 26 credits are for graduation. Anybody remember how many credits that you're going to get? You have the opportunity in high school to earn each year. Give me a shout out if you remember. Thank you. Well done. 8 credits. So you can figure out the math. So a lot of our students are actually hitting that graduation minimum of 26 credits in their junior year. That gives you a lot of freedom to say, okay, what else do I want to do? And we're going to help you in high school figure out whatever. It doesn't mean graduating early necessarily. I think we have a lot of things that we can offer here. A semester is a half-year class. So next year, what 2 classes are you going to be taking that are semesterized? I heard it, Gym. What else? Thank you. Gym and health. Those are your semesterized classes. We have very few semesterized classes. The majority of our classes are year-long classes, but those are going to be the 2 semesterized classes, which means you take them for quarters 1 and 2. You'll have an exam at the end of the year, and then you'll get a final grade that'll go on your transcript. An elective. An elective means you have a choice. World language is an elective. All right, now it also helps meet a graduation requirement, but it is an elective. Biomed, the interactive media, art, you have a lot of electives. So part of your task is, how do I develop a schedule that really helps to meet my own individualized needs? Not what your best friend wants to do, not what you all think you can do and stay together for the next 4 years, but how do I develop the best plan to best prepare me for life, for college and beyond? So we always call this our 6-year plan, because it's not just about the 4 years here, it's about at least the post-2 after that, and it might be even a little farther. A requirement. A requirement is a class that MSDE, the state of Maryland, says you must pass in order to get your diploma. Could anybody shout out one required class can you think of? Math. Yeah, so you need Algebra 1 and Geometry at a minimum. You need 4 Englishes, you need certain sciences, and I'll show you where those requirements are. And a prerequisite is a class you need prior to being eligible for a class. For example, you took Algebra 1 before you go into Geometry. Before you can go into Calculus, we need a few classes before to ensure that you're going to safely master that. So a couple things. Pass the class to get the credit. Passing the class, one of the things that we recommend to all students, show up every day. be on time, be prepared. One of the big things in high school is we have A-B days, and I'll show you that. So if you get homework on an A day, you don't have 2 nights to do the homework. You have 2 nights to be prepared for class. So do that homework that evening when it's fresh in your brain. That way if you have a question, guess what? You have access to your teacher, you have access to tutoring, you have access to peers, so that when you show up on class, when it's ready, you're prepared. If you fail a class that's a graduation requirement, you're going to need to take it. Now, we might have the option of taking it during summer school. Otherwise, we'll repeat it to the next year. Summer school is a great opportunity. Some students don't like it, but they also don't like the idea of repeating it and going through the same thing that they just failed. If you fail a class any quarter, you're ineligible. Coming in as an 8th grader, you are coming in with a clean slate. But right now, our report cards got posted on Friday, right? So Friday at 5 o'clock, we had students that were ineligible to play or participate in any activities over the weekend or clubs today. So there's an appeals process. You're a student athlete, student first. All right, our schedule's a little different than the middle school. You're gonna get used to it, and the majority of students say they really enjoy it. So you have 8 credits a year, and you have 4 classes a day. We have an A day and a B day. One of the things that we did a little different this year is we have what I call a straight day. So we have period 1, 2, 3, 4. Historically, 3 and 4 would rotate sometimes. That rotation is no longer happening. For those parents that have had students here before, that rotation is no longer happening. So every day is a 1, 2, 3, 4 day. It's provided some advantages for our seniors as far as their schedule. Students have adjusted well, and it's a pretty good thing. Classes are about 85 minutes long, and most of your classes are year-long classes. So here's an example of what some of your schedules may look like. We've got our A day, biology, Spanish 1, and then third block is math, and math is a daily class. So if you're coming into Intro to Algebra and Algebra 1, that is a class that you'll have on both A and B days. It'll always be with the same teacher, the same block, but that will be one way that that class would be held. So you'll have it quarters 1 and 2, 3A and 3B, and you will earn a math credit at the end of quarter 2. So for this student, this schedule, they're going to earn 2 math credits. So this is ideal for some students that are in Math 8, Intro to Algebra, and they're just still struggling with some of the concepts. This is your opportunity where let's repeat it or let's have it fresh, but let's do it on a daily basis, because sometimes we know you just need math to just really be in your face a few times to really understand the concepts. And we want to get that good foundation. And then they'll transition on A days to PE, Foundations of PE. It's our freshman PE that everybody takes for quarters 1 and 2, and then they'll transition to health. On B days, it's English, Fine Art, Intro to Algebra or Algebra 1, depending on the quarter, and then U.S. History. One change that is happening this year across the county, our students, all students, the majority, will be taking U.S. History. So this is to help to align with MSCE, and so all students will be in U.S. History. Incoming 9th graders will be separated from our current 10th through 12th graders that are in the class. So I know that was a big question. So whether they take regular U.S. History or AP U.S. History, they will be in a 9th grade history class. Here's a schedule where somebody has just math one time. So you'll see on their A days and their B days, very different classes. Biology on A day, Spanish 1. Now for some of you, this might be Spanish 2, if you're currently in Spanish 1. This geometry could be geometry, it could be algebra 1, it could also be honors algebra 2. And then you have your PE and health. And then on B days, we have English, art, foundations of tech, it's an elective, but it is a graduation requirement, and US history. So this is what a schedule will look like. Mondays and Wednesdays are A days, Tuesdays and Thursdays are a B day. So as a parent, if you see that your student has a tummy ache every B day, might have a conversation on what are some of those classes that day. All right, graduation requirements. I'm going to take a quick link to the Student Education Planning Guide. So let me show you how we got there. Yes, thank you. Student Education Planning Guide, if we go to hcps.org, is a wonderful resource. It will give you all the class descriptions as well as graduation requirements. So go to student, under student is Student Education Planning Guide. A lot of resources, all right? I'm not gonna go through that because I'm being thoughtful about time. Thank you, Ms. Graham. All right, here is one of the screenshots that we took from the Student Education Planning Guide that goes over the graduation requirements. These are the minimum requirements, the minimum. So it really comes back again to developing the skills, exposing your students to the different opportunities that we have to offer. Course registration process, so it started today. Actually, it started a while ago when we started the planning. You just didn't know about it. But we've started the planning, and your student has the opportunity now to explore the building, to talk with teachers, both at the middle school and at the high school, have access to the counselors here. So the expectation is that they complete their yellow sheet, they make the best informed decision they can make. As of this period, things might change. Their math teacher might say, hey, I don't know that you're ready to move on to the next math, but if you do X, Y, and Z, then I'll make a different recommendation. And that's the conversation you should be having with your student also. Like, what do they need to show or demonstrate to know that you think that they're ready for certain classes? And they're going to complete it online. They all went into their student planner, and they started already putting in their classes for next year. That can be changed. That can be modified. We can do that up until the end of the school year. So if there's any changes, please email the school counselor here. If you don't know who that is, email Mr. Rudd. He will forward it. Counselors have minimum days over the summer, not very many. So if you want to request, we can honor that until the end of the school year. Over the summer, it becomes more challenging. And definitely the week before becomes more challenging. Schedules will be posted on Hack about a week before school starts. Here's some of the completers. So when we talk about what your opportunities are, there's a lot. You don't have to pick a state completer right now. This is something that more in the 10th and 11th grade, you start to focus in on. You can see a lot. We have foods, early childhood, marketing, accounting, business management, technology, biomed, career research and development. We have a lot of ways to meet graduation requirements. We also have an apprenticeship. We have workforce. We have dual enrollment. We have a lot of things that 4 years ago I didn't even know we were going to have to offer. So here's what we told your students. Have conversations. Please talk to your parents. Let's make the best informed decision that we can make. Fill out your sheet, do it online, and be present on the 8th when a counselor comes back so that if you have any questions, you can ask us. Mr. Rudd is very knowledgeable about this process and is a great resource. If you're comfortable working with him, ask him. He knows your student and he can give you good feedback. We will give you the best we can, knowing what we know about the high school. So I'm going to skip through these. That's what their sheets look like. We do ask them to have backups on their electives in case because of their schedule, we have certain blocks everything has to fit into, and if it doesn't quite fit in there, what is their backup for their elective? We really do our best to work the master schedule so that they get as many classes as they would like. What's the difference between regular, honors, and AP? Your student will have the opportunity to take AP classes. So that's advanced placement. Those are courses that are designed by the College Board and has a standardized curriculum across, whether it's here, California, Hawaii, wherever it's taught, it's going to be taught the same. And there is an exam that you can take in May to see if you have a certain level of mastery of that class, which may provide college credit. For honors and AP, there's a certain level of independence, certain level of collaboration. Do you work well with others, or is that a skill you want to learn and you're willing to do that? Also doing class presentations, being organized, things along those lines. So the content's a little faster, workload might be a little bit more, but realize, like, again, high school is a practice for things, so if they're not comfortable working with others, that's something that in college and in real life we have to master. So how do we work together as a team to help your student get to that point? These slides just are little snippets from their course registration. You could see that I've already X'd out health and PE because we slot them in that. Their fine arts. Their fine art classes are duplicated as an elective because if your student is in chorus, they can also do band. We're not asking them to pick one or the other. If they want to do art and they want to do band, they can do that. They can do band, art, and biomed or interactive media. So it's really about them developing the schedule that they would like. We did put some slides in here about the biomedical program. So we have 2 signature programs. So whereas magnet programs, you had to do an application, a signature program is open access. Biomed is if your student is interested in going into the medical field, the course sequence, the rigor does increase. So we're looking at students that are they're automatically going to go into honors biology. Typically, most of them track into chemistry, honors chemistry, physics, or AP physics. So we want to look at the math, if possible, can help support them in that. But I do have students that are in Algebra 1 taking that class. They may have to be doing a little extra support or tutoring to help them meet the needs of some of their science classes when it comes to math, but it is a possibility. Questions with biomed afterwards, see me. Interactive media. We have interactive media students here tonight doing this filming. Any of the videos that you saw are our morning announcements. These are the individuals, the students that are putting it together. So for your student that's interested in that, take a look. We have an amazing studio up front. So the student planner is on their start page. This is how they get to their course requests. This is also in the future where their transcript will be. So your student will already, if they've already completed Algebra 1, their transcript might already be in there. I don't know for middle school, but at the high school level, their transcript is there. So when they click on the student planner, they'll see for the course registration, and they'll click on it, and this is what it's going to look like. So it's a process of adding it to an alternate or adding it as a requested class. They can delete it, they can make changes. If you submit it and you made an error, no worries. We have the override, the magic button. We can fix it, okay? So please don't get upset in the evening. We've got it.
Just a note about this. We went over this in the middle school today. A lot of the students had a little bit of issue with this, so please do this with your child. It is a little confusing, and I can understand why. But make sure they're just going by what classes are on their yellow sheet, okay? Because they're going to have access to all of the courses within the building. You just want to make sure that they're just sticking to that yellow course sheet, okay? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Well said. We do have, we try to double check, but sometimes the errors don't pop up until they actually go to the class. So that is important. Some tips on how to search for the course. Each of the courses are going to have a course code and a course name. And this is very similar to college. And then a big reminder is February 8th, be there. Let me see if I forgot anything. My best advice for this next week is use this as the week for everybody to do their homework. So go on the Student Education Planning Guide online. Teach your student, okay, we're thinking between English and Honors English. Let's look up what the difference is. So let's go to the Student Education Planning Guide. Let's go to courses. Let's go to Bel Air High School because we want to see their courses. Let's go to English, and then let's look at the description. So this is the time to model for them. Have them have a conversation with your teacher. You really, really want to go into, I don't know, honors class, but your teacher's recommending regular English. Let's find out why. In the end, we will place your child in the class that you and your child designate. So if you want honors English, you're going into honors English. That's a hard lesson when some students aren't ready for that honors English when it's October or November and they're struggling in that class, and changing their schedule is not so easy because changing one class may impact 4 classes. And they don't want to mess up all those classes. So that's why it's very important to just do your homework. So have those conversations. Don't expect to be with just because you're picking the same thing as your best friend, you may not be in those classes. The computer randomly does it. We don't have a magic way of hand scheduling all of these. All right. I think did I miss anything?
Yeah.
See, that's why I've got her. There you go.
I was debating on whether to talk about this. I would be remiss if I didn't kind of address this. I noticed that there was a lot of anxiety around the AP classes when I was personally in some of my math classes. I actually see a lot of the students that I was with today. I just want to kind of give you an encouragement. Please talk to your student about what they want to do. Okay, a lot of times parents will kind of push, oh, you can do it, you can do it. Listen to your child. If they say, I'm not ready for an AP class because they have multiple AP classes that they can choose from, please listen to them, okay? So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there.
And it's open access every year. So if they want to be successful and get their feet wet as a freshman and they're saying, I'm not so sure about this, that's okay. In 10th grade, they can take the AP classes. So it's open access every year. You can't really mess up the 9th grade schedule. You really can't. So I am going to turn it over to our PACE coordinator. When she is done, just thank you guys for all very attentive for being here. I know your time is precious. We have signs out with maps as well as a QR code so you can see what the different programs. The cafeteria is to the right. The school store is all the way to the right down. So just enjoy your time, and then we will make an announcement at 7:30 when to say good evening, and you can go home and have dinner, and thank you for your time. Ms. Johns.
Right. Hi, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Johns. I'm one of the math teachers here at Bel Air High School, and I'm also the PACE, which stands for Parent and Community Engagement Liaison for our school. So you just heard a lot of really important information about scheduling, and that leads to graduation requirements, but there's also another component of high school that you may have heard about a little bit already, and that's something called college and career readiness, or you'll hear CCR said a lot. CCR has to do with your high school experience and making it the best that it can possibly be and the most tailored to you as you want it to be. So what we're doing tonight, if you could just please, when you have a moment, children and parents, scan that QR code above me. There is a quick 8-question little mini anonymous survey that just gives me some information, some data about your current understanding of what it means to be college and career ready, your current understanding of the MCAP, that state test that you take at the end of every year, because those two concepts are intertwined with each other. So once I have this data, I'll be able to collaborate with others and put together some information that's going to best serve you, your family, your child on meeting those college and career readiness standards, because those are what's going to really open up your path. I know we're thinking 9th grade right now, and that's what we should be thinking, but in the back of our heads, we should be thinking about junior and senior year, because those are when our opportunities really open up, and all those opportunities are dependent upon your completion of college and career readiness. So if you could just take a second to fill that out for me, that survey, give me a data. I'm sure you'll be hearing from me again sometime soon with some more additional information and support that I can give to help you help your child. Thank you so much, guys.
Counselors will remain up here, so if you have individual questions that you would like answered, please feel free to come up. We're going to spread out up here. Otherwise, go out, enjoy, explore the hallways, ask questions. Thank you.